My name is Ferrera. And I am deeply honored to march with you today as the chair of the Artists' Table, as a woman and as a proud first-generation American born to Honduran immigrants. It's been a heart-rending time to be both a woman and an immigrant in this country. Our dignity, our character, our rights have all been under attack, and a platform of hate and division assumed power yesterday. But the president is not America. His cabinet is not America. Congress is not America. We are America. And we are here to stay. We march today for our families and our neighbors, for our future, for the causes we claim and for the causes that claim us. We march today for the moral core of this nation, against which our new president is waging a war. He would like us to forget the words, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free," and instead take up a credo of hate, fear, and suspicion of one another. But we are gathered here and across the country and around the world today to say, Mr. Trump, we refuse. We reject the demonization of our Muslim brothers and sisters. We demand an end to the systemic murder and incarceration of our Black brothers and sisters. We will not give up our right to safe and legal abortions. We will not ask our LGBTQ families to go backwards. We will not go from being a nation of immigrants to a nation of ignorance. We won't build walls and we won't see the worst in each other. And we will not turn our backs on the more than 750,000 young immigrants in this country currently protected by DACA. They are hardworking, upstanding, courageous individuals who refuse to live in the shadow of fear and isolation. They bravely took to the streets to declare themselves and to provide a voice and hope for their community. Today, we march with and for them. Together, we, all of us, will fight, resist, and oppose every single action that threatens the lives and dignity of any and all of our communities. Marchers, make no mistake. We are, every single one of us, under attack. Our safety and freedoms are on the chopping block, and we are the only ones who can protect one another. If we do not stand together, march together, fight together for the next 4 years, then we will lose together. Our opposition knows how to stick together. They are united in their agenda to hold this country back and to thwart progress. It is in their slogan. So we too must stand united. If we, the millions of Americans who believe in common decency, in a greater good, in justice for all, if we fall into the trap of separating ourselves by our causes and our labels, then we will weaken our fight and we will lose. But if we commit to what aligns us, if we stand together, steadfast and determined, then we stand a chance at saving the soul of our country. So let's march together.
In this speech given to protesters across America, Ferrera unites and motivates oppressed groups through an excitedly inspirational tone. The Women's March on Washington after Trump's inauguration provides an occasion to speak on the future of America under a new administration. Ferrera does an effective job of advocating for changed behaviors from protesters heading into the future through her inspirationally proactive tone and her use of parallelism, exclamatory sentences, subjective and connotative diction, and rhetorical devices, pathos and ethos. Ferrera opens her speech by sharing personal details to connect to her audience. Her use of parallelism creates a sense of unity among her and her audience. She defines what America is and is not, saying, "The president is not America. His cabinet is not America. Congress is not America. We are America." This repetition of what America is not, juxtaposed to what America is, strengthens her bond to her audience and establishes unity. By opening up her speech in this way to create this connection, she ensures their focus remains for the rest of her speech. Another attention grabber Ferrera utilizes comes at the end of her speech. She leaves her audience with an exclamatory sentence to add excitement and a final push of motivation. Standing together with her fellow protesters, determined to save the country, Ferrera says, "So let's march together." This powerful statement makes an exclamation that this battle is not one to be fought alone. The exclamatory sentence makes it clear to her audience she has drive and passion for this issue, establishing a trust and admiration within them. This use of syntax gives her a better relationship with her audience and made them believe she was someone worth listening to. Not only did her sentence structure contribute to her persuasiveness, but also her word choice. Ferrera's use of subjective diction made her argument more personal and therefore more effective. Ferrera chose to use the word our as opposed to your, because our carries the connotation of togetherness, whereas your implies a separate loneliness. Our is the most appropriate word choice to elucidate the idea that they are in this fight together. They are not alone. Ferrera also utilizes connotative diction with negative emotional meaning. This paints the picture of the other side as harsh and takes away their credence. Ferrera chose to use the words, "We reject the demonization of our Muslim brothers and sisters," rather than unjust accusations against Muslims, because demonization carries the connotation of violence, whereas unjust implies a softer injustice. Demonization is the most appropriate word choice to conjure feelings of hate and prejudice against her opposition. By creating these personal feelings within her audience, she makes her arguments more effective by creating a bias. Finally, her use of rhetorical appeals solidify the bias she creates within her speech. Ferrera utilizes pathos in the final seconds of her speech to leave her audience feeling motivated. She tells them, "Americans who believe in common decency, in a greater good, in justice for all, if we fall into the trap of separating ourselves by our causes and our labels, then we will weaken our fight and we will lose." This motivates her audience to come together and set aside any differences to achieve their common goal. This evokes a feeling of empowerment. Not only does Ferrera cater to her audience's emotions, she also utilizes ethos to establish credence. In her second paragraph, Ferrera tells her audience, "We march today for our family and our neighbors, for our future, for the causes we claim and the causes that claim us." Her appeal to her audience's morality creatively gets more people on her side. She tells her audience to fight for those who can't because she realizes it is easier to fight for someone else rather than oneself. These appeals further the motivation she instills in her audience. Ferrera effectively motivates her audience at the Women's March on Washington to advocate for change and feel united through her use of parallelism, exclamatory sentences, subjective and connotative diction, and pathos and ethos. For these reasons, her speech was the most persuasive.